Alrighty. Hello, hi.
What is your name and what do you do for a living?
Sorry, I'm just getting like random flashbacks to the editor series because this is where we did it last time.
Oh, what? It's almost like we're doing the last ones.
Crazy. Hi, my name is Leonel Sanchez Roblero, and currently my occupation is something. I work in facilities, so maintenance stuff, which isn't what I want to do. What I want to do is all of this, but yeah, so far I've gotten like random random volunteer stuff to help out with a bunch of media stuff, which is where I've learned how to do most of all of this stuff right now.
I like.
Because online college sometimes isn't fun.
Well, let's see what Faith had decided to ask you.
All right. Gave me an icebreaker.
You got a 3.
Which would be?
If you were told you have one day to spend $10,000, how will you spend that money?
Well, I would put one day. I thought about this question this morning, but it wasn't 10,000, it was a million, so I had more so 10,000 in a day. Well, the first 5,000 I would put into a trust fund and stuff like that for savings, so I could have future-proof stuff. And then the rest 5,000, some of it would go towards my tuition, just to pay it off, not worry about it. And then whatever remains, I would use it to buy a Sony FX30.
Okay. Why that camera? That's thousands of camera options. Why that one in particular draws your interest?
Well, actually, I thought about getting a Sony A7 III, but then the more I've been doing this sort of stuff, the more I've been using this camera and everything, I've noticed that I do shoot photos, but most of the time I'm not using my camera for that. I'm using my phone because I'm just doing it for fun. But I'm more focused on video than I've ever been. So the FX30 is a camera specifically made for video, and it's like a tiny budget cinema camera, even though it's not budget, because it's still gonna hurt my wallet. Because it's I think it's 1,500 just for the camera body, and then with the camera plus the lens it would be 2,000. So yeah, I'm saving up for that because it gives me more variety, gives me more of that cinematic look, and I could use it for future stuff, future gigs, and I'd probably feel more confident. Because yesterday, actually, sorry for the rambling, but
it's all good.
Yesterday, I went to there's this Connect group. It's something my church does, where we basically, each person can form their own group. If it's it's like a hangout almost. You can create a hangout or it's like a club, sorry. It's like a club where if people are interested, they can join, and then you can do whatever stuff, read scripture. But on top of that, you can do whatever your activities mainly focused about. Oh my gosh, Satan. It's Satan on earth. Okay. But basically, we get to do these things. There's, for example, a Connect group about grief share, people who have recently lost someone. They can talk to another group of people who I think are actually therapists. That's their main jobs, but they decide to help people out with stuff like that. Another Connect group is called Be the Bridge, which is basically trying to fill that gap in between people African Americans or just white people. White people don't know the struggles that African Americans people have faced, but there they can basically talk about it and as the group says, be the bridge. Be the bridge to from one side to another. Anyway, I have a Connect group, which is on Fridays. We call it All That Is Made. I'm a co-leader in there, and the main leader is our photographer at the church. I'm a videographer, so it's wouldn't it be interesting to show people how to let their creativity flow? And basically, you don't need gear. I mean, I know everyone says that. Everyone says you don't need gear, but sometimes you don't need gear. You can get away with a lot. You can get a lot. you can get away with a lot of things with just like using your phone. For like the first, I mean, you can attest to that. For like the first year, I've used my phone, well, not this one, it was an older one, but I used my phone to video record, edit, thumbnails, Photoshop, everything. I did it all on my phone. And I know I didn't shoot consistently, so, I'm not like at 800 subscribers, I'm at 12, because to be honest, I don't care about, I mean, I do, but I don't. It's a love-hate relationship.
Like with a lot of things in this industry.
Yeah. Anyway, I basically said, you don't need your fancy equipment to do all this stuff. You can use whatever you have. So we started a group. Anyway, now that that's out the way, yesterday after we were going back from our little trip, we went to like an art gallery. It's called like First Fridays. Really interesting. We were driving back, and photographer or mentor asked me, like, have you thought about doing independent gigs before? And then I said, well, I would, but I wouldn't be so comfortable doing them with this camera, because this camera is technically budget beginner, and yeah, it can get away with some stuff, but I wouldn't be super confident trying to charge a client $200 or $300 while using that thing. I would be more comfortable if I had like a cinema type camera. That took way longer than it should have, but here we are. Good luck, future you, when you're editing this.
I wish you the best, editor. So, with all of that, you basically allow me to think of a couple questions. So I'm gonna mumble them in order, and you can decide what's more priority in your opinion.
All right.
What tips would you give people who are stuck solely using a smartphone? Let's say iPhone 10 Plus or Android, I think it's 16 Plus for cameras.
Oh my gosh, if you have an iPhone, come on. No, I'm not, look, no, hold up. I know this sounds, yes, I'm an Android guy, whatever, but I'm not saying that iPhones are bad. Yes, I hate Apple and their ecosystem and their UI, whatever.
That's fair.
But I can say that their video is almost enough for me to switch over to them, just solely so I could have, because iPhone video is actually pretty good. It's better than any Android phone out there. When it comes to photography, well, you got your Google Pixels, they can outbeat them. But for video, Apple has made it so, sorry, I keep looking at the camera instead of you.
It's all good.
Force of habit, okay. So, Apple has made it almost their top number one priority, yes, photography, but mainly for video. Their main focus is video. So that's why they literally, like, their software is super optimized to be used with their camera. So now it's not gonna be any cinema camera, but it's really good. Like, it almost beats most cameras out there. Like, if you really want to, you could almost just use an iPhone instead of a camera. You could use it for videography. You can actually use it now. If you get an iPhone Pro, any variant, it can be an 11 Pro and up to whatever Pro it's right now. It has this thing called a LiDAR sensor, which Apple has mainly pivoted that focus for photography. You could get more computational photography and like better layers and stuff, HDR and whatnot. But the capabilities and honestly, the things that people have done with that LiDAR sensor is incredible. Like, people have used it for like scanning 3D objects, creating virtual sets, like just using an iPhone. Of course, there's some limitations to that, but there's so much you can do with a phone nowadays. And like editing software, there's an app called InShot, which literally today, a month ago, I was doing this project where I was trying to do motion tracking and like DaVinci Resolve does have like, AI built-in motion tracking, but I did not have AI built-in motion tracking. So I did it by hand. It took me an hour for a 5-second clip. And then later I found out that DaVinci has the auto track, auto rotoscope tracking, whatever. But literally this morning, I got a notification that there is an update for this app I'm using to edit videos and whatnot. And they added auto tracking. So you can do, like, if you want to blur someone's face out, you can just put the filter of the blurry thing on top of that person's face, and it'll automatically track it, and you don't have to do a thing. You know how amazing that would have been? Anyway, so yeah, there's a lot you can get away with your phone nowadays.
Okay, so phones are not something to just look over,
Yeah.
you can say. But we would go for beginner or intermediate people who are trying to get more gear, you would say, right?
Yeah. Actually, let me preface this. A phone is good depending what you got. So if you got a phone that's like $400 and below, no, I'm sorry, it ain't gonna work out. I'm gonna be honest with you. That thing's only gonna shoot 480 or 720p. It's gonna be a potato phone. So you can either, I don't know, invest in, I'd say maybe an iPhone 11 to like an iPhone 14. Those are pretty good. Or at that point, I don't know, shoot with what you got. Make it look retro, make it look vintage, and then like make it your shtick.
I mean, that's fair. One of the biggest creators on the channel, PewDiePie, is literally doing vlogs in a vintage look with a 1990s camera.
Oh, nice.
So, I mean, look at what you have. And so your overall tip for people on phones who may be trying to make things look as good as possible is learn the camera and its limitations, you would say?
Yeah, so like learn the best you can about it. Sometimes it's not always the best to shoot an automatic. There's an app I think called Filmic Pro. It used to be you just pay once and call it a day. But not like everything in life, it's monthly subscription. Anyway, it gives you manual controls, your exposure, I think your shutter speed, and all those fun stuff. And once you start experimenting with that, then you can start to create whatever video. Like for example, for video, from this perspective, if you adjust, sorry, I just started to look over here. There's clouds now, so I'm just gonna brighten that. Sorry.
Thank you. You probably confused the editor when he was doing color balance. Now he has to readjust it, but it is what it is.
You know what? No. You know what? You got this. You're earning a degree in this. I believe in you. Plus, we all know editors. Just one click of a button. Am I right?
Yeah. Editing is so much easier than videography work.
I know. Like, stop complaining. Okay. Where was I? Oh yeah. So once you get your shutter speed, or on this camera, you can adjust your f-stop. What I've learned over the years, I mean by years, I mean the last couple months, the lower your f-stop, the more bokeh or blurry your background image gets. However, if you keep making that number super low, it gets to the point where it's amazing for photography, but for videos and you're doing a bunch of like run and gun scenarios, lowering it to the lowest f-stop isn't the best sometimes, because once you lower it to the lowest f-stop, the focus becomes just bad. Sometimes the focus, it doesn't go super good, and then you end up editing video and then you're like, oh, that's out of focus. Oh no, I'm gonna cry. But yeah. So, yeah.
Okay. Let's step away from video work.
Yeah, I could talk about that all day until you're,
Yeah.
you know what ends up happening, right? You're gonna be editing hours, like 10 hours worth of. I don't think your camera would last that long. My camera wouldn't last that long. I would cry because of all the video I have to export. But anyway.
So, with the church, would you say that church has been a big part of your life?
Well, I'd say, I mean, I've been there since 6th grade, which is like a long time. I'm 21 now. I don't look like it, I know. I need to get a shirt that says, I swear I'm 21. And then like switch it out every year. It says, I swear I'm 22, I swear I'm 23.
I need that because I've been getting called sir and people thinking I'm 40 years old when I have my full facial hair.
Wow. You and I are having the opposite problem. I want to look older, but I can't grow a beard. It just becomes all patchy. And then you look...
I want to be older, but I don't want kids to call me sir. That's... no.
What do you mean? That's so funny. Okay, sorry.
It's not for me.
All right.
Anyways, with the church being a big part of life since 6th grade, what have been your biggest and favorite moments from the church?
Favorite moment? Well, favorite moments would probably be. I know this is gonna sound sad, but I haven't, and I'm still not. I'm working on myself here. I've always been an introverted child with a lot of social anxiety. Which, by the way, no plug or nothing, but you know, if it gets uploaded before this does, here's the video of the thing I made for social anxiety. It's right here. You'll put it in, right? In editor, right? Please forgive me for what I said last time, right? Okay. Anyway, whatever. You don't have to. Doesn't matter. But yeah, I've had social anxiety, so most of my childhood at the church wasn't exceptionally super well. I'm not saying because, you know, people were treating me bad. It's just my distant sort of nature towards everything kind of like didn't allow me to have a lot of fun. But now, I guess now that I'm doing like all this videography editing stuff, it's like the thing I find most joy in. Okay. Sometimes I do it for free. I have the issue of doing a lot of things for free, and then like my mentor or a couple of people said like, why don't you do this for paid work? I'm like, I don't know. I've been doing this for free all my life, so now like it's a habit. And then they're like, well, how are you gonna pay bills? I'm like, I don't know. I guess I'll be homeless. I'll be homeless with a pretty nice camera. I don't know.
Yeah, screw a car, a van, and shelter. I got this camera.
Yeah.
Okay, so introversion, being introverted.
Uh-huh.
Can you describe to those who may not actually understand what it means
Oh
to be an introvert?
my goodness! Yes.
Walk away.
Yes, you can still hear me because it's mic.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know this isn't your typical interview. Sorry.
It's all good. It's for YouTube, not for ESPN.
There's a difference between being an introvert and having social anxiety. You can be an extrovert but still have social anxiety. But mostly, for me at least, introvert is more or less like, I don't mind hanging out with people. I don't. But like, once we reach a certain point, like certain hour, like let's say I'm hanging out with someone and it's been like 3 hours, my body will slowly start to shut down. And I'm gonna talk less and less and less to the point where I'm like, okay, I need to go home and have some alone time. Not that kind of alone time. The alone time of like, I don't know, just be silent, maybe listen to some lo-fi music or whatever. Just be alone so I can like recharge. But yeah. But social anxiety, that's a whole hurdle in itself, because the industry I decided to, you know, do this in, like the whole industry I decided to choose for my career, needs you to be social. You know this. I know this. We have to be social. We gotta act like, we gotta meet with a lot of people. We gotta like talk to them to clarify certain things. We gotta talk a lot. And that's where the issue comes. The issue is like a video I'm working about right now, because right now I want to work on myself. I bought this book. It's called How to Win Friends and Influence People, and it gives you some tips on talking. And like, I know it sounds so dumb, like Generation Z, I swear, but I have issues with that and I need to work on it. So I bought this book. So far it starts off easy. It's gonna get harder as the book goes on. So far, part of it would suck if this thing would break.
Yeah.
Sorry, for the people who don't know, we're like in the park. I know, right? Editors outside in the park, that's crazy. But
we're actually touching grass, kind of.
Oh yeah, and there's a geese like that are looking at us menacingly. Anyway, sorry.
It's all good.
What was I doing? I was talking about
being social in a social world while not being social.
Yes. Right now I'm making a video. It's for my social media, because YouTube is I mean, it's a decent priority, but it's not like I'm looking to make whatever. Anyway, so on Instagram I made a creative account where I want to do my creative stuff, because my main account was private this whole time because I don't want to do it with bots and whatnot. Some scammers. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. So I created a video that says, actually I think I could give you the script because I've been like saying this thing over and over again. So like the spoilers on. Or I guess spoilers for you if you wanted to go in blind. Do you want to go in blind with watching that video, or do you not care?
I have bits and ideas from what you told me.
Okay, well, you're about to get it all. So, intro shot, I'm still deciding. I have to post it tomorrow. I made a deadline. Like I said, I have to post it tomorrow. If I don't post it tomorrow, it's just never going to be released. So, tomorrow, the beginning shots are going to be me, like, faking, like, I'm in a crowd, and I go through the emotions, like, the heartbeat increase and whatnot. I'm talking to people. Or I slam a book on a table, and I said, I have social anxiety. And then we cut to the next scene. And I said, and hold up. For the social people in the back who don't know what the heck I'm talking about, let me explain. And then I go through the definition of social anxiety, where I do motion track of my face, and then like letters pop up as I'm floating by. Anyway, it gives the Merriam-Webster definition of what social anxiety is. Once that happens, and then I go to the next scene, I say, in other words, social anxiety has, oh man. In other words, social anxiety has, never mind, I don't know the script. But fast forward, I do know the 3 things. I said, in my life, social anxiety has always acted like this barrier, preventing me from living this kind of fulfilling life I want to live. And then here are the 3 things that social anxiety has hindered in my life. Number 1 would be, I can't look people in the eyes when I'm talking. Like right now, you've probably noticed I keep looking somewhere else. It's not.
Likewise here. If I take these off, people know it's if I'm looking off to the side.
Yeah.
But that's my autism mostly.
Yeah, mine's just social anxiety. I can't look people in the eyes when I'm talking. Even if it's people I know really well, I can't. I don't know. I guess that's where I picked up the stupid habit of looking into the camera instead of looking people in the eyes. But yeah. I can't look people in the eyes when I'm talking to them. My voice, oh man. Like right now, I can't do it on command. I can't show you because it just doesn't happen. It only happens during those situations when I'm really socially anxious. When I'm talking to someone new who I don't know, talking to someone who's like in a higher position than I am, like stat-wise or whatever, or in front of a crowd. Those suck. But basically, my voice begins to stutter, and I cannot articulate my words correctly. My words just, there's no cohesion anymore. It doesn't exist for some reason. The words don't flow anymore. They just I'm kind of like stuttering. And not only that, my voice goes so high. I can't even replicate. I don't know how it gets that high. But my voice gets really high. I begin to stutter, and it gets to the point where my face begins to blush like crazy, not because, something spicy or flirtatious, more or less. I'm nervous. And then I leave, or I just don't talk. Or then I just sit back down and I act like nothing happened. And then finally, the worst ones. My third option, which, warning, if you haven't seen this channel already, it's gonna deal with not heavy topics, well, maybe, I don't know. So, sometimes my thoughts get really bad. Like, thoughts of, well, actually, it goes to like 3 levels of stuff. First level is cringe. I start cringing after everything I've said. And I start over-analyzing everything I said. The second phase is, oh, people probably find me annoying or whatever. And then the third phase is the phase I hate the most. It's the depressive phase. It's the, wow, you should die. You should jump off a bridge or, I don't know, buy a gun, shoot yourself in the head. Yeah, I know, depressing. I'm sorry, okay? Yes. If you haven't noticed, Christians aren't perfect just because I'm... Wow, we're really delving off. Okay. So wow, very therapeutic. Sorry. Yeah, this is like way off topic. I'll go back to topic, but off topic here. Yes, I am a Christian, but Christians aren't perfect. Society usually, well, it's some Christians' faults because they put these dumb expectations of perfection on everyone. But Christians aren't perfect. We also deal with depression. We also deal with anxiety. We deal with a lot of human things. Because at the end of the day, we're still human. Okay? We're just human. But we strive to live a better life. But, sometimes we go through life. And that's just how life sometimes just goes. So yeah, I have depressive thoughts sometimes. Who knew? Who would have guessed? But yeah. I think that answered your question. I don't know. I started talking
really,
so much.
Hey, that really in-depthly explains social anxiety while also bringing your point of view to it.
Yeah.
So, I have to ask this, just out of morbid curiosity.
Oh boy, here we go.
With your social anxiety...
This man has so much dark humor. I also have it too sometimes.
Hey, it's one of the few things Midwest people get right, the dark humor.
I know. It's sad over here.
Oh,
it's called nap. It's called nap time for a reason.
Hey, all we have is a speedway that's only open in May, corn and soybeans.
And the Indianapolis Zoo, Children's Museum. It was fun for a while, not anymore.
Yeah. So, with social anxiety, would it be something that if someone came up to you today, opened a briefcase, said, "This is a cure for it"?
I would take it in a heartbeat. I'm sorry.
All right, that's all I need.
I'm sorry. I would take it in a heartbeat. Like,
hey, that's fair.
You know how amazing life would be without social anxiety? Man, there are people out there who I'm jealous of because they can talk like my mother. She can go up to anyone and become friends with them. You know how much I would love to have that ability? Yes, there are certain parts that I would like to keep, like some things I've learned because of social anxiety. But I'm willing to throw that all away. So there we go. I just ended your in-depth poking provoke. What was it? What were you gonna ask?
I was gonna ask if someone came up to you with a briefcase and will offer you the cure for social anxiety, but it would change who you are as a person, but you don't obviously know what that changes will be. Will you take it?
I would still take it.
All right. I just ask that to anyone with any form of mental disability or condition, just to see.
To be honest, I feel like if I were to be more like social without any fear of it, I still feel like I'd be normal, or I'd like basically I would act the same way I've been acting throughout this whole interview, except it wouldn't just be with a couple people, it would be with everyone. So I feel like I'd still be the same. I just wouldn't have that fear holding me back.
So in a way, removing that social anxiety will probably remove a mask that you probably have because of your social anxiety.
Oh man, masks. I have so many. I actually made a post where I like photoshopped a fake like my mask. Although it's kind of creepy because it's like a fleshy mask. Probably doesn't look that good. I mean, sorry, high critic mode. It never disappears with me. Anyway,
it's all good.
So I created a Photoshop image where I thought about a couple years back during the pandemic. I went to a park and like it was fairly empty, so it's like the first time I actually took off my face mask, and I did like a mini photo shoot with no mask on. So, and I put a caption on there, "Life without a mask." But I was like all happy. But like I said, sometimes we get depression. It's an on and off thing. Sometimes it appears, sometimes it doesn't. Right now I don't have it. Right now I'm living the best I can live. But maybe later I'll be very sad. Who knows? But during that photo shoot, like I wasn't really going like, yeah, I was like smiling, you know, doing that whole pose when I'm sorry, editor. My camera has a record limit. That's why I want to get the other camera. It doesn't have a record limit.
Don't get mad at yourself. Blame the Europeans that made the stupid thing.
You're right.
Goddamn.
Shame on you.
Goddamn British people, I'm not drinking tea for a week.
That's a lie.
I've been drinking Irish tea, so it's fair.
I'm gonna drink British tea.
Fuck you.
I'm sorry, okay?
Are you American?
Well, that could be a topic for later, but to some people, I'm not. To other people, I guess I am. Anyway.
Oh, that's a whole different...
Yes, we can delve into that in a bit. But right now, we're on masks.
Yeah.
You know, America, we hate masks.
Oh, hell yeah.
Anyway, so, where was I? Park. Okay, so, you know, pandemic, we're cooped up. You know, being alone, not alone, I was with my family, but still, isolated in my room, wasn't fun. It wasn't fun for anyone. Probably for you, you could probably attest to that too. Yeah.
The only thing good during that period is that my YouTube channel blew up for the first of 2 times.
Mm-hmm. Good on you.
But besides that, fucking sucked.
Yeah, all I did throughout the pandemic, I probably wasted it. I probably could have gotten buff, but no, I got really fat. Well, more fat than I am right now. I'm still fat.
Same here.
Anyway, yeah, but you've like lost a lot of weight. You look good. Like compared to when we first shot this, like here in the same location. Ooh, there's so much progress.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Anyway, so yeah, all I did during that time was watch Naruto. Naruto Shippuden. It was a long anime. Probably should have watched One Piece. Anyway, so yeah, I wasn't happy during that moment. So externally, I was being very happy. Internally, not so much. So I said life without a mask. In reality, it was life with a mask. And then a couple years, a couple of years later, I'm thinking about like what should my next creative post be. And then I thought about masks and, living with a mask on. Not a physical mask, but more or less an emotional mask. A mask that you want people to see. And I have a couple. One of them is the I don't care mask. The mask that I wish would be my permanent self, which I don't have a care in the world what other people think. So I'll just act. Basically, it's like you act like you're drunk, but you're not drunk, you're sober. That's why when people say, oh yeah, you need alcohol to have a good time, I'm like, no, well, you guys are drunk and not judging me for anything. I'm going to act like I'm drunk, and I'm going to act like there's no care in the world, but I'll still remember everything I did, which I'll regret later. But yeah, that's the I don't care mask. Back to the post, sorry. The post was essentially just, like, behind the mask, I looked sad, I looked, like, depressed. But in front of the mask I'm holding, I have it like this, sort of like this almost. The mask I'm holding, it's like me smiling. I look really happy. So it's like, in that caption, I posted life with a mask. And then the second photo, my glasses, I did this weird effect. Like, it was all practical. I mean, color change wasn't practical, but the effect itself was practical. And I basically said I'm fine, but I look really sad, really depressed, whatever. But yeah, I've had a couple masks. One of them is the I don't care mask. The other one is the, I guess you could say introvert. My introvert nature could be a mask in itself as well. In moments where I don't want to talk to many people, I put the I'm silent or whatever sort of thing. And then, well, we are getting to the therapy session. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going into therapy mode today. So, okay. Okay. I had this thought, really far back. And basically, the thought was, have I had so many masks now that I don't know who I am actually? Have I put on all these masks that I don't know who the original Lionel is anymore? Am I truly this talkative? Is this the real me? Or is the real me the silent type? Or is the real me actually anxious? Or is the real me super extroverted? Or is the real me very happy? Or is the real me just a very distant person? Or is that also a mask? Did I put the distant persona as a way to not hurt myself? Because, back to the depressive thoughts, right? A while ago, I don't have them anymore, thankfully. I've gotten, not over it, I'm not saying it's something that toughen up your feelings, because that was probably the main reason. Not the main. That's the main reason why I spiraled out of control. Because I kept stuffing my feelings down to the point where I couldn't hold them in any longer. And everything came out. And everything came out in the worst possible way. So, a while back, I won't say how long. It hasn't been recent. That's all I can say. But a while ago, I had thoughts of suicide. They were suicidal thoughts. I was thinking, well, I guess we're about to spill everything today. Well, you should have brought your tea.
Damn it. The one time I don't have my tea on hand.
The one time we could play that joke, we did it. Anyway.
Edit it in post.
do a CGIT. Use Blender. Okay. So, yeah, I had thoughts of not living. So that's how my whole mindset was based around. Like, okay, I'm gonna become super distant from people. I'm gonna act like a complete dick, so that if I die, no one has to go through the grieving process. Because my mindset, even though I hated myself a lot, like I looked at myself in the mirror. Most people, they like look in the mirror, they provide these positive affirmations to themselves. I looked at myself in the mirror and I'm like, wow, I wish you were dead. Yeah. Sometimes those thoughts come back, but then like I push them away. I'm like, please. I don't know. Back then, yeah. So I had these awful thoughts. And even through all those thoughts, I cared more about others' well-being. I mean, I'm still like that today, but now I have more of a, I'd like to say I have a healthier balance. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I do. Anyway, back then I cared more about others' well-being compared to my own, so I didn't really care for what happened with me. I just cared about what happened to other people. So even in my thoughts of suicide, I was thinking about other people. And I didn't want them to go through 5 stages of grief because that sounds like a pain and a half. So I said, you know what, I'm going to act like the worst human being ever so that if I die or when I die, no one will have to go through any grieving stages. They'll just be like, that man was a dick. We don't care about him. And they can just move on with their lives. Which resulted in some other issues. Like, before, I never made any plans for the future. I just said, maybe tomorrow I'll just die. Or stuff like that. So when my boss, she's always saying, "You have any goals you want to do after college, whatnot?" I always said, "No, I don't have anything," because I didn't think I was gonna make it towards like graduation or something. I thought I'd be dead or something like that. So I didn't make any goals. I didn't care. So yeah, it got to that point where I had too many masks on, and it was getting to the point where I didn't know who was me anymore. If I put on these masks on just so I could like avoid the inner trauma, inner turmoil that was going on inside my mind, did I like put on all these masks just so I could keep hiding from it or keep covering up from it or whatnot? But yeah, now I'm fine. Now I've made so many goals. I like the one goal to lose a lot of weight, the one goal to skydive, which I did.
Insert quick cue.
You may want to cut the music out. It's copyrighted. I'm sorry.
Good to know.
So, yeah, jumped out of a plane. That was fun. I lost, not a lot. I mean, it was a lot. It's not like a lot in terms of being healthy. I lost weight. My next goal is to run a 5K, and then after that a marathon, well, mini marathon, then after that a marathon, and then after that paragliding. I have so many things I want to do now. So yeah.
Okay.
I think that was your question.
I mean, that's generally the question.
Yeah. So back then it wasn't doing so hot. Today, I'm working on myself. And that's what's important.
For those who may be watching this video who is about to enter that depression episode or who is in it, what would be your advice to them to help them out? Or try to dig a way out?
Well, I can give you my perspective. Although my perspective, you might say, that sounds religious. In my opinion, I don't feel like it's religious, just the way of life I live. Or, because I believe in God. I believe in Jesus. I believe he died on the cross for us and all that terrible things he went through. But if you really want to watch, like, if you're too lazy to read the Bible, I get it. It's long. I get it. You know, if you read the Old Testament, oh man, the amount of weird stuff there. Even I have to say so. Or Revelations, oh man, sometimes I feel like he took some like LSD broke. That's what sometimes I feel like when I'm reading it. I'm not gonna lie, but if you really want to see the brutality of it, watch the movie Passion of Christ. It's rated R, but it can show you exactly what he went through. Anyway, so I would say knowing that the season I was in is only temporary, that helped me out of there. Actually, funny enough, when I was thinking of ending it all, I went to church. But usually when I'm at church, I'm helping out, so I'm not really sitting down to listen to the sermon or whatnot. This time, I decided to sit down and listen to the sermon. And funny enough, the topic of that day was suicide. Yes, we delve into topics like that at a church. I know, right? Blasphemy. But, yeah. And then he said something. And when he said it, it felt weird because he looked in my general direction. I'm like, I've never told anyone this before. Like, why is it that he's looking in my direction while saying this? But he says, right now it feels like everything's burning down around you. Right now it feels like nothing could get better from here. But the thing is, this is only a season in your life. Things will get better. Right now it seems like this is an eternity, but things will get better. And he also said, Jesus will help you get out. Jesus will be with you through that walk. But, of course, if you don't believe in that, I won't force it on you. But I guess you can think about it, it's only a season. Like, yeah, it might be a long season. It might have been a year now. But it's not going to last forever. It's just not. So, yeah, I don't know. Drink tea, do some yoga, hang out with some friends. Or if you think, I don't want to be a burden to them, I'm like, okay, if they can't handle something like that, then they're not your friends. I'm just saying. Like, if they're not willing to go ride or die with you, then, I don't know, yeah.
At that point, they're just being a follower instead of actually being there to support you.
Yeah.
Also, just advice that happened to me, because I went through a depression episode and a really serious suicidal download a few years back.
Yeah.
My general advice is focus on one thing. The one thing that makes you happy. And just keep focusing on that. And have that emotion slowly bring you out of it. For me, it was YouTube. That was the thing I was most passionate about. And because I focused hard on YouTube for a couple months, well, I went from being stuck at 300 subscribers to now on the road to 900 within a year.
My guy's getting paid soon. He's getting that ad revenue. Let's go.
Because the new YouTube policies that took way too long to do.
Woo, let's go. I'm not getting paid a cent because I never grinded. Anyway, that's my own fault.
Yeah, the grind mindset, my God. That's a whole topic for a separate video.
Maybe I can interview on that one.
Oh, hell yeah, I will.
Okay.
So the last question I'm going to ask you, to lighten up the mood a little bit.
Oh, I thought we were just going to keep going. No, I could go on for another depression. No.
Wait,
No.
no.
Do I
need to call someone?
I meant I could go more for the weird, depressive questions.
Well, I mean, with this question, you could turn it that way, but it's more for the past.
All right, let's see how this goes.
All right.
Wait, how much time? Okay, 15 minutes, yeah.
Cool. In about 10 years, where do you envision yourself? If everything goes smoothly. Not perfectly smoothly.
Dead. Just kidding. That would be my old mindset. Now, I've always had the dream of making a movie, but I'm not really good at that. So, most people's dreams in the U.S., their dream is, there's another question. I just remembered the whole question of being Hispanic in an American world. Yes. We can do that next. I don't know if you want to or not.
We can do that.
Okay,
next.
but right now, being in the world that we live in, everyone wants to grow up, own a business, own a house, live that life, whatever. But I'm not good with business. As I stated earlier, I don't know if we were recording that or not, or maybe that was off camera. But I tend to do things a lot for free. That's my issue. I can't, when I'm doing projects with other people, I tend to always go for free. But recently, this is going to sound stupid, but my little sister, she's about to turn 15. Anytime I'm about to do something, where they might pay me, I always kind of run it through her first before I make a decision. Because if I make a decision, I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, I can totally work 16 hours for this project, only to do it for free. Yeah, I'll be fine. And then my sister, she'll slap me back to reality, saying, "Are you stupid? Like you're gonna miss 3 days of work. Like charge them or something. Like charge them at least a minimum." So I'm like, okay, yeah. So I can't do things on myself, or at least business-wise, I can't. Or else I'm gonna do it for free, and I'm not gonna last that long. Actually, I'm not gonna last a day. I'm gonna be in so much debt. So yeah, I would like to, I guess, work for a company like a videography company or something of that sort, where I don't set the prices on stuff. I just like show up and use my skills. I don't know, maybe live. I would say a house. I wouldn't mind an apartment if I'm like living on my own. Actually, I would like to live somewhere. Maybe, I don't know, explore the country, explore the world, not being good old Naptown for my whole life. That would suck. But yeah, that's all I can say right now. Oh yeah, I envision myself skinny with a six-pack, and I'm no longer socially anxious. There we go. That's what I see myself later. Oh yes, and I'm super rich, and I have these Sony FX30, or better yet, like the cinema line cameras. I have the best microphones. I have a shotgun mic. I have a Sennheiser mic. I have the Audio-Technica headphones. I'm decked out, bro. That's what I imagine.
You drive a car that has a whole broadcast system, so you can broadcast anything you want to TV.
Or better yet, I don't have a fancy car because I spent it all on camera gear. That's the future.
All right. All right. So since you kind of want to...
Oh, and the Sigma 18 to 30 millimeter lens. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. That's good. So, because the question kind of got brought up in a joke, which, by the way, I know it's probably super late to insert this. The joke was Americans hate British and British hate Americans from earlier ago. But how does it feel to be Hispanic in America? Especially Naptown.
Well, thankfully, my encounters of racism hasn't been a lot, but it's still there. I'm not saying it lingers, because like some people, they don't deal with it very well. Obviously, they've gone through more traumatic things, unlike me. But the way I deal with it is a bit more funny, or I get a kick out of it. Wait, no, I'm not a misogynist, I swear.
You are an editor.
I'm not. Okay.
No, in all seriousness, as someone who is, and I will admit it fully, you're not. You don't seek pain like I do.
Hey, there's children around. Chill.
Hey, they shouldn't even know the word.
Okay.
If they do, they have bigger problems here.
Most white people assume that, if you're like brown skin and you speak Spanish, you're Mexican. Funny enough, that's not the case. Funny enough, that's what I thought. America corrupted my mind. But no, there are Ecuadorians, there are Salvadorians, there are people from Cuba, there are people from Puerto Rico. Yeah, I don't count them. I hate them. Just kidding. Haha, funny. Okay, sorry. Wow, really delving into that American mindset. Like I said, I'm still working on social anxiety. Okay, but usually what I do is if someone, they said, go back to where you were from. I'm like, but I'm here. And they're like, no, go back to Mexico. I'm like, but I wasn't born in Mexico. I was born here. Like, you're lying. I'm like, okay. So, I don't know if you know this or people watching know this, but when Trump was president, he said, let's make America great again. I don't know if he realizes America includes everything, not just the U.S., South America, which would mean Mexico too, and everything below, which is why when you said make America great again, I'm like, okay, does that include Mexico too? Because Mexico needs help sometimes, but they're too prideful to ask for help. Anyway, So as I go back to America, or it's like, leave America, I'm like, where do I go? Across seas to Europe? Like, what do you want me to do? But yeah. Or sometimes what I usually like to do is, I like to play this card sometimes. It's because of my social anxiety. When I want to talk to someone who I've never met before and they're asking me some certain things, I pull the no speak English card. It's fun. But yeah, sometimes people make some comments. I don't see them a lot here because maybe if I were to go more south, then I'd face a lot of it more. But here, because we're in, I'm not gonna dox you. Okay.
It's all good.
Because we're here somewhere, it's not as red. It's more bluish.
We're in the safe zone area compared to some areas.
Yes, so that's why I don't face it as much, but it's still present.
I mean, at my college, Ball State, campus itself is safe.
Yeah.
You can be whoever you want, whatever you are, and be out there comfortably. But the moment you step outside of that campus border, you better act like the most redneck person ever. Because literally, in one of the neighborhoods right off of campus, there's a Nazi and Confederate flag outside someone's door.
Oh.
Just free in the air.
That's fun.
And I'm over here like, A, the South got defeated by Indiana. What are you doing? There's nothing Southern here. And 2, we're not German.
Like, what are you doing here? Just kidding. So, yeah, that's that.
Alright. So, unless you wanted to say anything else, like questions that we now touch on or whatnot, I'd like to ask one final question.
Let me think.
Cue Jeopardy music.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else.
Okay. So the last question I'm going to ask you and everyone who I will be interviewing for this series from this point on is simply this. If you have to make a movie title of your life, Leonel Sanchez and is the quote, what would that quote be?
I have 5.
You have 5.
Yes. Lionel's Bizarre Adventure.
Of course, the JoJo reference.
Yes, that's my number one. Second one is The Perks of Being a Lionel Sanchez. I'm just stealing. I'm not original whatsoever. Okay, but seriously.
Is anything original anymore?
You're right. The third one could be like a certain section of my life, not the whole life. The sad life of Leonel Sanchez. The boringness. Or the more exciting, hopefully exciting parts. The Man Who Grew, or something like, not grow taller. I'm stuck. Thanks, Hispanic genetics. I love you so much. Thank you for leaving me at 5'6".
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that height, as I'm in denial.
Anyway, I meant more grow in personality, grow in like certain aspects of life. The other two were other jokes, but I'm just gonna act like they don't exist, so I'm not gonna say them.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for getting the meeting times wrong.
Yeah, we're not gonna talk that.
Okay.
In the description will be your YouTube channel and Instagram page.
Yes.
And
follow it. I've been posting so many things on there, and I've been getting like 2 views, 2 likes.
If you don't follow, WalStreet will come after you in your sleep.
Oh snap! That's a threat I'm not willing to bet with. Oh wait! Before this thing ends, we're going commando here. This is quick.
Oh god.
So
I'm not ready. Shit.
Hey, chill, not like that. Look this. Why? I have a question for you.
What's that question?
Is water wet?
No. I'm not in the mood for this pointless discussion. Water is wet. I will fight anyone who disagrees with that. Matter of fact,
like and subscribe.